Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking at my Chaos Hollow Palm Chayula Monk. Pretty much the meme build of the league. And honestly, I've always preferred off-meta builds and more meme type theme builds. And this one really works very well for me. It's honestly gone pretty good. I'm in tier 12s right now. I know I'm a bit of a slower player, but I wanted to give anybody some advice into the hurdles that I've encountered and how I've gotten over them to make this build a lot just easier and more fun to play. There's 4 problems you're going to have to deal with while playing this kind of class and build. Number 1 is going to be mana sustain. That's a big issue, so we'll fix that as well. Number 2 is going to be power charge generation. Number 3 is going to be that the fact that this build does require a build defining unique. It's not very expensive, so don't worry. And then number 4 is going to be having to deal with stuns. And honestly, I've gotten around getting stunned in a really awkward way, so there may be some things to find out here as well. So number 1, let's talk about that build defining unique, and that is going to be the Original Sin. It converts elemental damage into chaos damage. Do you need this unique? No, you can play Chayula Monk without this unique. However, though, it does fit the theme, and personally, I like the theme. I even dressed my character up in that purple because of that chaos damage. So the thing is, though, Original Sin is actually going for around 69 to nice 50 exalts for 100% elemental damage conversion. So here's 59 exalt for one of them. Don't get baited by like the 91 or the 89 or 82%. It's been pretty easy to get divs this league for me. I've had about 4 or 5 just drop in really early maps as well. I guess I don't know if I'm lucky, but that's pretty much what's been happening. And I've been able to upgrade my gear pretty easily with the new trade system as well. So it's been pretty nice. So you can get this ring pretty easily and even get all of your resistances as well pretty easily too by having everything else. Do you need those fancy Thunder Shock gloves? No. I bought a pair because I thought it'd be kind of funny for the meme, and it is very cool, but it's not necessary, so you don't need them. Don't worry about that. And even then, I found a pair for like a div, so it hasn't been very expensive to find a lot of really good gear just lately, just lying around in the trade site. So with that being said, we have the actual unique that's defining for the build, and let's talk about the build itself. Here is the skill tree. In the POB, in the pinned comment, you're going to see 2 different trees. One is after you get Original Sin, which is going to be this tree, and the other one is going to be before you get Original Sin as you level up. And those trees will be vastly different from each other, mostly because a lot of the damage you're going to do and a lot of what you need to get done for this build is not going to work until you get Unraveling, where every 2 seconds you get a buff that helps you add build up towards Freeze, Ignite, and or Shock. The problem is, though, is that this buff can switch between different random ones. You may get Frost twice in a row, you may get Lightning twice in a row, or Fire twice in a row. We're going to solve that in a couple of different ways by getting power charges. And we're going to do that by getting this, Resonance. We're going to be gaining Frenzy charges with the Combat Frenzy, but we're going to be converting them into power charges as well. Because what we're going to be doing is adding ailments to actual enemies. When those ailments hit and they either get frozen and or shocked, we're going to go ahead and get a power charge and then use it that way. I made it a lot easier to sustain with, and don't worry, when you see how I fixed it, it's going to be actually kind of funny. So this is the build we're looking at right here. Again, the POB is in the description down below. A couple of things you want to look out for is mana sustain. And the 2 ways I've solved that is actually right here with Mana Leech and Siphon, recovering 2% of max mana on kill and 25% increased amount of mana leached. Also, the big helper has been mana cost efficiency and conservative casting, or increase of the mana regeneration rate and also mana cost efficiency. The anoint that I'm going to be putting on for my necklace is going to be asceticism. I guess that's how you say it. Stun threshold is based on 30% of your energy shield instead of life. That's going to be what you need for that because you are going to get stunned quite a bit. And when I talk about gear on the actual Chayula Monk, I've been looking for ES evasion and not just focusing on one specifically, because a lot of what I've been looking at, a lot of what I've been getting has been the ability to go through and get increased critical strike chance by 0.1% for every, 10 ES that I have on my equipped armor, and also 1% more attack speed per item evasion. So you really want to make sure that you have everything high quality, and the way you upgrade and do more damage is by increasing these flat stats of either evasion rating and energy shield. The higher these numbers, the better you're going to look. And that's how it's going to be working out that way. Pretty much everything else here is just increased critical strike, increased damage of chaos, and that's pretty much it. On this side over here, I'm going to be getting into this crit area and then also going to be going into getting this daze, because as your character progresses, you are going to be dazing enemies very quickly. And also on top of that, with Tempest Bell, you are going to be dazing enemies quite often. Oh, one more thing that I almost forgot. If you want to have every single skill available to you, you are going to need an unset ring for an extra skill slot. You don't need it earlier on. You can get it later on to give yourself that extra boost, which is what I'll show you guys right now in the skills, and you'll be good to go. So I did have Into the Breach before, but I respec'd it, but it's still here on my skills. What I have here is Harmonic Remnants and also Remnant Potency. Basically, you are going ahead and having 100% further away for casting those flames and catching them, and then also 20% increased effect when you get those flames. On the Chayula Ascendancy, I'm basically just going to be going from Unraveling all the way down into Lucid Dreaming and getting Choice of Power for Purple Fire. Pretty much stay with the theme, right? More chaos damage, the better overall. Now, for what I have as an aura, I have Withering Presence. You're going to need on this Chaos Mastery for increasing the level by 1, and then also skill effect duration, because what we're looking at is we want to increase the duration of Withered on enemies, since they're going to get withered every 1.48 seconds. Combat Frenzy, we're going to go ahead and gain a Frenzy charge every time we freeze, electrocute, or even pin an enemy more than once every 6.4 seconds. And I'll show you guys how we're going to generate that. And for Combat Frenzy, we add Charge Perfusion to get an extra charge whenever we do that, just to keep that sustain nice and high. We added Ghost Dance for just having that extra energy shield recovery, and we added Compressed Duration. Now, for Wind Dancer, do you need Wind Dancer? Not early on. I highly suggest you get Wind Dancer later on in the game. It's going to help you against a lot of stuns, so you don't get chain stunned by a lot of enemies, especially in Abyss. And speaking of chain stuns, make sure you get a Stone Charm as well, so that way you can use it when you become stunned, and then you're not chain stunned by all the other enemies as well. For Wind Dancer, we put Blind. 2, we put Magnified Area to make it bigger. That's what she said. We put Maim, we put Knockback for that increased area of knockback from enemies to give us more breathing room, just to get up as well. And then Clarity for more mana regeneration, which is nice. Shattering Palm, I don't have the 6th slot here yet, but we'll get it soon. This is nice because this is going to be our traversal skill and also our screen clearing skill. We don't have Herald of Ice, so we're going to be using Shattering Palm to clear the screen. And so we have Rapid Attacks, Magnified Area. We have Ambush for that extra crit early on. And then we have Ancestral Call because we want to actually boost ancestrally Shattering Palm. So that way, basically just 3 other copies of myself show up on screen. They all Shattering Palm all the enemies on screen. And then everything explodes in a beautiful cacophony of ice. Speaking of ice, here we have Ice Strike. And this is going to be our main damage dealer. What I've done is to solve the actual frenzy charge generation to then convert it into power charges is by Toll's Stillness. Chaos damage from hits with supported skills also contributes to freeze buildup. Supported skills gain 20% of cold damage as extra chaos damage. Now, I think Toll's is not very expensive. This is 28 exalts. You should be fine finding Toll's for 28 exalts. The reason why you want this is because when you're using the actual setup of Unraveling, you're randomly getting a specific kind of aura. So now it's Flame. I'm not going to be doing Flame damage or Flame ailment generation. We want to actually go ahead and make always enemies get frozen, seeing we're using Shattering Palm, and then doing on this space, Shattering Palm increases freeze, our Ice Strike makes freeze, and then we're constantly freezing enemies if we're not breaking them and shattering them early on from all the damage we're doing, and then we're getting our power charges that way. So simply playing the game normally nets you the ability to gain power charges, and as your enemies get frozen, you pop them, you break them, you get your power charge, then you get your charge staff and you move forward. We've got Rapid Attacks 2 here for that increased attack speed, Crescendo, so that way our 3rd hit, which will always leech as well as do critical damage, as well as increase the amount of freeze buildup, will happen twice, which is always nice as well, and more attack speed. Chaos Attunement for more chaos damage, and I added Rage 3 because it's nice to have that extra boost in DPS while you play. Tempest Bell, I don't have the 6th slot yet, but we'll add that later on. We've got durability, so that way we can have the bell being hit 2 more times. We've got overabundance, so we have +1 to the limit, so we can have 2 bells on screen, which is very cool. Magnified area, so that way the shockwaves are wider in that space, and rapid attacks as well, so that way they go off quicker. I think I can replace this with something else though, I'm pretty sure, but I just felt it was like, make the bell come down faster, make it hit faster, whatever. You can replace this one with anything else that you want or that you feel is more acceptable as well. Hand of Chayula, we're going to be using that. That's going to be for our single target. You're basically going to cast this onto any big rare or any boss while you're playing. That's going to help you out as well. We're going to do Sniper's Mark, so that way we get that critical damage bonus, so we critical hit as well. We're going to do Despair. This is going to be a tricky one. You're going to need more intellect than you normally think you do, so just be aware of that too. I am going to have to upgrade this as well, because if for some reason you are not getting your actual Despair off on enemies, that means you have to upgrade this skill, and then that way it'll apply that effect, because the enemy level is determining whether or not they can get hit by Despair in the first place. So just be cautious of that. If you're doing anything like that, make sure that your actual skill is leveled up to the enemies in your area, or else it's just not going to work. And then we have Heightened Curse for Curse Magnitude as well. You can add anything else that you want here, but this is what's worked for me. Mantra of Destruction. This is going to be that extra bonus damage. This is what I put into my unset ring. Do you need this? No, but it's kind of cool to have as like a little just oomph as you're actually fighting a boss or single target enemy. It's 8 combo points to use. You're definitely going to have enough combo points because you're attacking like 7 times per second, trust me. And then you lose the combo on the actual after 8 seconds. You empower your attack by 67% of damage as chaos damage. And then the actual buff duration is 8 seconds until your next attack. And then Purple Flames of Chayula have a 20-second duration as well. So you get a nice boost on it, and it's actually pretty good to do. When you get that 2%, it goes down to 7 combo points as well. Finally, Charge Staff. Also, do you need it? No, but if you have an unset ring and you want to use it, go for it. Charge Staff, this is going to be helping you get that shock for that 20% extra damage on your enemies, and it's always good to have that extra lightning damage. The lightning damage itself from Charge Staff isn't what you're looking for. What you're looking for is that fast attack speed to go through and actually apply the shock debuff onto enemies when you also have Unraveling Bolt. Now here we're looking at our Ice Strike. I am attacking 7.87 times per second during this one attack. That's pretty good because, again, evasion increases your attack speed on your items. That's what you want to focus on, not just your typical, how do I boost this up? Attack speed, attack speed, attack speed, crit, 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 crit. That's going to basically be it. When we're looking at this kind of build, it's going to set you up in this direction. We want to increase chaos damage all across the space because we're no longer doing elemental. We're going to be doing chaos damage as well. And then we're also going to be doing anything that boosts here. Now, some players have gone around and have increasing the magnitude of their curses over in this space as well. Sure, that's fine, but doesn't really, whatever for me. I just prefer to use Despair on there and go with it that way. I'd rather get the extra crit and the extra damage from dazed enemies because you are dazing bosses and you are dazing enemies in your space, and it works pretty well. If you want to see how it works and what I'm talking about, let's run a tier 12 map. Here we go. Players are cursed. I don't even look at it anymore. I just go for it. So let's talk about the stun and seeing what's been going on there. We'll do one with the boss too. I don't really care. I don't even look at maps anymore. I just run them in and I just go. Okay, so the way I fixed the last problem has actually been in a really awkward way, and that's getting taken care of with like stunned. And pretty much, yeah, you've got Wind Dancer to help you out with that. You've got your Stun Charm to help you out with that. But the last thing that actually helped me out the most was getting Ice Strike and setting it to always attack without moving. Basically what was happening was I would zip into a pack with Shattering Palm, Ice Strike, and then with Ice Strike itself, it would zip me into another pack where they weren't Shattering Palm in the first place, and then I would get triple stunned and then just get knocked down and just basically get rocked. So that's what was happening to me. The other thing is, though, playing with PoE1 controls, not using WASD, has been pretty much a big help for me as well, seeing as how if you try to just go ahead and combine both left click as Ice Strike and right click as Shattering Palm, it doesn't really register it all the time, and so you'll Ice Strike, zoom in, and then Shattering Palm, and it doesn't fit well or feel right at all. So I'll show you guys how this works. It's pretty simple, basically, and we're going to do this boss too and just do this map for you guys to show you how this actually runs, and that's pretty much it. We're just going to go ahead and boom. we just popped them up. I pressed all the wrong keys though. That's how it kind of like operates for me. And that's pretty much it. We just popped that pack. No big deal. Everybody's done. We got a power charge. We already got charge staff. Like that's it. Like that's how I solved all those problems. Now we're just going through it and it's not even a big deal. This is tier 12 map and I'm just kind of you know, having a good time. Not really worried. Going through, power charges is still up. Everything's good. Not really having any issues. And it's just really nice and easy to just play through. It's kind of cool though, because it's just fun to just punch stuff and have it explode. But pretty much what I'm doing is I'm using Shattering Palm as my traversal skill. And then going from there so that way I never really have an issue of accidentally pulling a pack that I don't mean to. And then that way, instead of just moving with Ice Strike, I just move with Shattering Palm. And I just tap it whenever I'm ready with the next pack. Because they're going to be chasing you. They absolutely will. And you'll be good to go. Now, a big thing that I've noticed is Abyss has been a bit of a problem. It is a bit of a problem. This is before that update patch. In fact, here is an Abyss right now. Let's see if it actually does the right thing or if I die and embarrass myself on stream. That's kind of been like the big thing is what do we do with an Abyss? You just kind of have to deal with it. With ES, you should be covered pretty well, but you are going to have to like dart in and out and kind of like dash your way around to get past a lot of the other stuff because stuff like that, and then your ES goes down. It has been a little bit overtuned in my personal opinion, but it's still a fun mechanic and I like it a lot, honestly. Those elites, like this one with all this dude right here, man, that is rough. Usually I Shattering Palm the rares, and then it helps with any of the actual enemies around me too, to get rocked off and not really, oof, that's a bad choice of words, rocked off. To get knocked, there you go. There's that good old fashioned, yeah, you gotta love that overtune right there, boy. I tell you what, it is a bit rough. I don't think anybody would have been able to deal with that, honestly. But that's sort of like I've been trying to fix and just like deal with, is that kind of thing. But you know what, 2800 ES and 1200 life, it still isn't enough apparently because these dudes just wreck my face every time. I don't know what got me that time, but we'll see if it does it again. All right, he's stunned. And now they're frozen. Whoa! Whoa! Okay, that's fun. Yeah, that is a hell of a pack. I don't, again, very embarrassing. When it's in motion and you're in your flow state, it's a great build to play. It really is. But when you're trying to like, get that startup, that can be a little bit difficult sometimes, especially if you don't get enough power charges. And then that's about the only thing that you have to kind of have to deal with. But that's okay. Once you get that first power charge, you're pretty much set the entire time. It's nice and easy, smooth sailing once you're done there. Because you're just zipping around between packs, almost like Flicker Strike in PoE 1. But just a more controlled version of it. Because it's super chill. Like that's so great. Getting them out before like, boom. Again, when you're getting everything right and it's popping off, you pop off, which is cool. It's also nice to hear like that sound like that. Look at that boy. That boy frozen. That boy locked. He done. Boss time. Easy. Like if it wasn't for those deaths, we would have been there, what, 2 minutes ago, probably? But that's pretty much the build. Once you get those specific things done, you're covered. Once you take care of that mana, once you take care of creating those power charges, once you get your ring, you can take care of stun in other ways as well. I'm sure some of you guys in the comment section will know what's going on and how to take care of that. But it's been pretty easy once you figure out like not to rush into everything. All right, let's do this boss. Here we go. And let's see. Now he's stunned. This is what, look at this. This is so great. Boom, done. Didn't have to do a single mechanic, just rock that dude's face. Like, that's the best part. You can really do that if you need to. And that's pretty much the Monk Chayula build. It's not a bad build. It's not the best build. I think it's like right in the middle. For clearing, it's going to be like a C+, B-. For bossing, definitely an A. Like, that's a great way to do bossing. I'm still not done with this class just yet. Some of my gear is pretty much quote-unquote done. A lot of tier 1 mods, stuff like that, but I'm still working on a couple of other pieces here. Use the trade site. It's been so much better getting gear as well. I think the last piece to upgrade is going to be my belt, and then I'll pretty much be done, and except for like the charms will be the only other things too. I have the stun charm, I'll get a freeze charm, and then also I think a shock charm as well, and then that'll be it. Boom, done. To make it more fun, yeah, you can get the Thunder Fist if you want to, and then maybe Ingenuity if you want to as well. But I think at that time you're losing too many defenses and or, you know, things like that. But I want to get this up to like 70% or maybe 80 if I can, and just keep a lot of the other stuff here. But that's pretty much the build. POB will be in the pinned comment. Enjoy. If you guys have any other ideas or things that I can do to make this build better, put them in the comment section down below. If you are getting stuff solved because of this, I hope it works out and helps you guys out and enjoy the game a lot more. And as always, if you want to see more of this kind of content, more builds, more updates, more PoE news, or anything else in the ARPG space, subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you next time.